Thank you, Ling. Yeah, great to see you guys. Thanks for being here on a Saturday. So in this session, I wanted to talk a little bit with you about websites and apps. And we might not do too much on websites unless people have some specific questions about it. In creating websites nowadays, it seems like it's fairly simple. So using something like Google Sites, like a free thing like Google Sites, they do a lot more for you in the sense that people aren't really using like HTML anymore, having to code things, text-wise using that. So everything is kind of visual layouts and stuff. People are, you can create it with just like you're creating like any document, right? So website design nowadays seems to be pretty simple, or at least a lot more simple than it used to be. So unless people have specific questions about that, I won't really cover much about that. I want to talk a little bit more about apps and how to create apps that students could use in their projects. And so when we think about apps, there are so many different types of apps out there, right? Of all different types of varieties. There's social media apps, there's reference apps, there's food delivery apps, there's, so many different types of things. And so when we think about an app, essentially what it is some sort of small program that you can create that will do something for you. And so I'm going to take you through how to make some very simple apps using a free program through code.org. So it's code.org's App Lab. And I'm going to take you through a couple different apps. So one is a quiz app and one is an app that uses data. And so hopefully that'll help to give you some ideas of how simple it is to create apps. So it's simple enough that your students can make some things. And depending on what they want, there's a possibility they can do it. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and create an app. So we're going to go to code.org. And if you have an account with them, go ahead and sign in with your account. If not, you'll have to create an account. It's very simple though. So where we're going to go is, let me put it in the chat here, is you can just use code.org and it'll kind of redirect you to this site. Let me share my screen. And you are going to sign in here. So let me just sign out really quick so people can see what it might look like if you don't have an account. Maybe, there we go, signing out. And so you can log in with Google or Microsoft or Facebook, or you can create your own account. So you probably have one of these through your school. So I'm going to log in with Google. And I already have an account, so I don't have to fill out any other information. Sometimes they'll ask about, age and something like that. But go ahead and create an account. And what we're going to do is we're going to create an app in App Lab. So once you're here, in the top right corner, next to where your name is and your account information, you can click on Create. It brings down a drop-down menu, and we'll click on App Lab. And so App Lab is a free program. It does have some nice capabilities, I think, for students to make an app. And it kind of has, let me just kind of orient you to what App Lab is like, what the interface is like. So you'll notice here on the left is a screen. It's like a simulation of your app. So it looks like a telephone screen. In the center is the toolbox. And on the right is the workspace. There are also 3 different modes that you can be in, kind of. So there's the code mode, design, and data mode. So these different buttons on the top left, they'll let you switch between coding, design, and data. And so we're going to create a project, and I'm just going to rename the project. So on the top left, and we're going to create a little quiz. So I'm just going to call it quiz and then click save. And I realize some of you might be making your account if you don't have a code.org account. So if anybody needs me go back for anything, or once you get here, you're a little lost, just holler and I'll take a step back.
Do you mind going over the kind of how you got here? Sorry, because I was
yeah, definitely. So just go to code.org. And so are you logged on? Do you have an account? Person who asked that?
Yes, I
Okay, great. So here, let's just go like this. Let me just go back. So you're going to be here like in your dashboard, and you'll probably see along the top these different tabs and things. So next to your name, there's the create button. Click on that and it brings a drop-down menu, and you're going to click on App Lab. Okay. And that will get us to an App Lab editor here. There it is. It's loading. All right. And so let's rename our project. And I'm going to call it quiz. Save. And so what we'll do is we'll create a very simple quiz app just to get you guys familiar with how to create things in App Lab. Okay. So we'll just start with a multiple choice question. And whenever I create an app, first thing I do is I try and think about the design of it. So what are the different kind of screens and layout of the things I want in my app? And I'll actually do this on a piece of paper. But just for sake of time, we'll just kind of do this here. But on a piece of paper, I like draw out some tall rectangles, just like a phone screen, and kind of sketch on there the things that I would want, and maybe have arrows going from one button to the next screen or something like that, so that you have an idea before you get started of what it is that you want to do. Okay.
So
okay, once you create an account, on the top right, click on the create button. It'll bring a drop-down menu and you can get to App Lab that way. Okay. So we're going to design first. So let's click on the design button on the top left. And this gives you access to different elements that we can put onto the screen. And so the first thing we'll do is we'll grab one that's a label. So grab the label and just drag it over to the screen and just drop it in there. And so it creates this like text box. Okay. And I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. And for any object that we put into App Lab, when we're in the design mode, you'll see the properties over in the workspace. So the properties are all the different things about that object. So it has its ID, and each element will have a unique ID, so that when we're coding, we can tell one thing from another. For the text box, it has a text here, and I'm going to change the text. We're going to make this be our question. And let's just make it a simple, like, astronomy question. We'll say, what planet is the closest to the sun? It's closest to the sun. There we go. All right. And we can change other properties of it. We could change the text color if you wanted, the position. I'm going to change the font size. I'm just going to make the font a little bit bigger. I have to make it a little bit bigger. Make the font a little bit bigger, and I'm going to align it so it's center aligned. There we go. So that is the question for this first question for the quiz. And the next thing we'll need we'll put some buttons on there. So let's grab a button and just drag it over. And I'm going to drag another button over to my screen. So now I've got two buttons, and these will be, for our multiple choice question, these will be the possible answers for it. So I'm going to click on the first button. And so over in properties, we see that it has the ID of button 1, and the text is that. I'm going to change the text, and we'll say Earth for this. Okay, that'll be one option. And I'm also going to change the ID to Earth, and I'll show you why later, but it'll just make it easier if we name these things so that we keep track of which button is which. Okay. And for the second button, we'll click on that, and we'll do the same thing. We'll change the text, but instead of Earth, we'll make it Mercury, which is the correct answer. And the ID, same thing. I'll make it Mercury. Okay. So this is the first screen that we have, right? It has our question, it has our multiple choices that we could choose from. And what I wanted to do is that when we click on the wrong answer, I want to take us to another screen that says, sorry, incorrect, try again, and then have a button to go back to the question and try again. If we click on the correct answer, let's have it go to a screen that says like, woo, you got it right, or something like that. Okay. So to create new screens, we want to still be in design mode. And above the screen where it says screen 1, if you click on that drop-down menu, it gives us the option to create a new screen. Okay. So now I have screen 2. And I'm going to change the ID of screen 2, and I'll make it say, maybe incorrect. It will be the name of this screen. And I'm going to drag a label over to it, and this will be where I have the text of it say, sorry, incorrect, try again. And maybe I'll make that font a little bit bigger. And maybe I'll center it.